What happens when two complete losers are given one simple job, and that job turns into a violent, hilarious, drug-fueled nightmare? Imagine a road trip where every mile brings a new disaster, every character is crazier than the last, and nobody can be trusted. That's exactly what Idiots 2026 delivers, a wild blend of comedy, crime, and thriller from writer-director Macon Blair. If you're a fan of chaotic road movies packed with dark humor, outrageous situations, and flawed but unforgettable characters, this is one film you won't want to miss. At the beginning of the movie, we meet two men whose lives have completely fallen apart. Mark is carefree, irresponsible, and constantly under the influence of alcohol or drugs. Davis, on the other hand, is a kind-hearted Christian who genuinely believes in doing the right thing. Despite having completely opposite personalities, both lose their jobs and desperately need a fresh start. That opportunity comes when they take a new job transporting troubled teenagers to rehabilitation centers. Their very first assignment is to escort Sheridan Kimberly, the spoiled son of a wealthy family who has been sent to rehab because of his drug addiction and increasingly dangerous behavior. At first, the job seems incredibly simple. All they have to do is drive Sheridan safely to the rehabilitation facility. But they soon realize that Sheridan is far more dangerous than anyone warned them. Sheridan is manipulative, intelligent, and completely fearless. He constantly lies, tricks people, escapes whenever he gets the chance, and turns almost everyone he meets against Mark and Davis. What should have been a straightforward road trip quickly becomes a desperate chase across multiple towns. As Sheridan continues escaping, the journey introduces a series of bizarre and unforgettable characters. Among them is Irina, an Eastern European stripper who has her own personal reasons for tracking Sheridan down. Soon after, an eccentric group of locals joins the chaos, including the unforgettable Coco, played by Peter Dinklage, and the outrageous rapper Prick-a-Bush de Werewolf, whose bizarre personality adds even more comedy to the increasingly ridiculous situation. With every stop on the road, the problems become bigger. The trio encounters drug dealers, criminals, violent confrontations, and one disaster after another. Every attempt to capture Sheridan only creates an even bigger mess, turning the mission into complete madness. But beneath all the outrageous comedy and action, the movie explores something much deeper. Sheridan's cruelty slowly pushes both Mark and Davis to their emotional limits. Mark becomes increasingly reckless, believing violence is the only way to end the nightmare. Davis, who has always believed in kindness, patience, and forgiveness, begins to question his own values as anger slowly takes over. The journey becomes more than just transporting a troubled teenager. It becomes a test of morality, forcing both men to confront the darker parts of themselves. As the story reaches its climax, everyone is pulled into one final confrontation where survival becomes more important than completing the original mission. Old enemies become unexpected allies, difficult choices must be made, and the characters are forced to decide whether revenge or compassion will define who they truly are. Without spoiling the ending, Idiots 2026 concludes with a surprisingly emotional message. It asks whether people can truly change, whether everyone is simply doing the best they can, and whether even deeply flawed individuals deserve another chance. What makes Idiots 2026 different from a typical road trip comedy is that it constantly balances outrageous humor with surprisingly thoughtful character development. At first glance, the movie looks like a simple story about two unlucky transport drivers trying to deliver a spoiled teenager to rehab. But as the journey unfolds, every new stop introduces stranger characters, bigger problems, and increasingly unpredictable situations. The film keeps changing direction, making it almost impossible to guess what will happen next. One of its biggest strengths is the relationship between Mark and Davis. They're complete opposites. Mark is reckless, selfish, and impulsive, while Davis is kind, deeply religious, and determined to do the right thing. Watching these two personalities clash, argue, and slowly understand each other creates both hilarious comedy and genuine emotional moments. Another standout element is Sheridan, the teenager they're transporting. Unlike the typical spoiled rich kid seen in many movies, Sheridan is manipulative, intelligent, and genuinely dangerous. Instead of simply causing trouble, he becomes the driving force behind every disaster, constantly outsmarting everyone around him. His unpredictability keeps the tension high throughout the film. Director Macon Blair also gives the movie a unique style by blending several genres at once. It isn't just a comedy, a crime film, or a thriller. It seamlessly shifts between laugh-out-loud humor, intense action, awkward situations, and surprisingly emotional character moments without losing momentum. The cast of Idiots 2026 is led by Dave Franco as the reckless and carefree Mark, and O'Shea Jackson Jr. as the kind-hearted, faith-driven Davis, whose contrasting personalities drive the story. Mason Thames delivers a standout performance as the manipulative and dangerous Sheridan, while Peter Dinklage makes a memorable impact as Coco despite limited screen time. Kiernan Shipka plays Irina, an Eastern European stripper caught in the chaos, and Nicholas Braun adds comic relief as the eccentric rapper Prick-a-Bush de Werewolf, whose bizarre personality adds even more comedy to the increasingly ridiculous situation. Perhaps the most interesting aspect is that beneath all the chaos, explosions, and dark comedy, the movie quietly explores a deeper question. Does every person have a hidden dark side, and how far can someone be pushed before they become the very thing they hate? Davis's emotional journey gives the film unexpected depth, making it more than just another wild comedy. Overall, Idiots 2026 stands out because it combines unpredictable storytelling, memorable performances, sharp, dark humor, emotional character growth, and nonstop chaotic energy into one entertaining road trip adventure that feels both hilarious and surprisingly meaningful. If you enjoy films where every scene becomes more unpredictable than the last, this one deserves a place on your watch list. So, don't forget to watch Idiots 2026 when it releases on August 28, 2026. And if you enjoyed this review, please like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to CheezeDrama for more upcoming movie reviews, entertainment updates, and the latest Hollywood releases. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.